Welcome, everybody, to the next class in Living Lessons of Tanya. Last week we finished up chapter 6 and we're about to start chapter 7, but just a little recap of the end of chapter 6. So, at the end of chapter 6, the Alter Rebbe, the author of the Tanya, was telling us that we have two souls in us, the animal soul and the godly soul. The animal soul lives in the blood and in the heart, whereas the godly soul lives in the brain and up in the mind. And usually if we follow the animal soul, it's because of our personal wants. Anything that has to do with spirituality, doing holy actions with God, etc., that is totally from the godly soul. But we are not animals. We are a human being. Therefore, the mind can control the heart. Many times we go and say like this, I want. And many times we go out and buy it. But do you know how you stop that want? Just ask why. Why do you need that dress? Why do you need that pair of shoes? Why do you need that food? Why do you need whatever it is? The guy in the store doesn't want you asking, why do you need? They just want you to buy on passion and on feeling. And that's the difference between a human being and an animal. Most animals walk on their four legs, and their head is equal to the heart. Whereas a human being stands straight up, where the brain is above the heart. The concept is that a human being should never go with their heart. By the way, many people say, go with your heart. Oh, you love the person. Why? Because you feel good in your heart. Well, how many brain cells are there in a heart? Not many. Zero. So why would you make a lifetime decision right now with a partner if it doesn't make sense? By the way, they always tell you when it comes to buying property, when buying stock, never buy on emotion. Always make sure it makes sense to you. Why? Because this is a human being decision. This is not just, go do it. Because people who buy an emotion literally did not study well the situation. And therefore they can lose a lot of money. So too, the action that you're doing, why would you go and follow your heart? Think it through. But the Alter Rebbe, right before the end of chapter 6, has a mind-blowing concept. A mind-blowing concept. Everything is from God. And God is holy. That means everything should be holy. So how could there be a negativity? How could there be something that is not 100% good, 100% holy? Everything comes from God. In fact, everything comes from God because it is God. I mean, there's nothing outside God. So if God is revealing itself and transforming itself into this physical world, then everything should be holy. So how is it possible that there are things that are not so holy? So the Alter Rebbe, right at the end of chapter 6, has a beautiful example. Imagine you're in the king's palace and you're invited to eat from the king's table. You're going to have such delicacies. You're going to have sauces. You're going to have appetizers. You're going to have breads of all types. You're going to have this slice of meat and that slice of meat. It's going to be chicken. To your heart's desire, everything will be there. But then standing on the side are some dogs and cats, pets of the king. So what do a lot of people, what you do is that you're not going to go and say, here's the whole turkey. Here's the whole roast. You don't do that. What you usually do is that you give the leftovers, but you're not going to eat, and you say, here, please take it, eat it, enjoy it. So it's not the great essence of the banquet. You're getting like the leftovers, something from the side. True, it's all from the banquet, but it's not the same kind of looking food. So too also, every single thing that God makes in this world, you see, everything has God's infinite light. But the infinite light could be too bright. And not everything can exist in such bright light. For example, when you're driving in a car, and all of a sudden the sun is blocking, you know there's a tree there, you know there's another car there, you know there's a sidewalk there, but you can't see it because it's too bright. So what does God do? He puts shades of his light, he contracts it, so it's not the banquet of light, and all of a sudden, the light that comes, that's a little dimmer, is what gives life to everything else. So it appears not as holy, because it doesn't have that holy light, like from the banquet table. So it has a less of a light, and we call that not as holy. So, very simple. Everything in this world, if it's for godliness, like Torah learning, talking to God, praying to God, serving God, doing a mitzvah, that's a bright light. There you're totally eating from the banquet table. But let's say playing baseball, playing volleyball, or going shopping, or doing your work, it's permissible things. But it's not in the realm of holiness. They exist, but they get their energy from a lesser light or a more contracted light. So that's why we call that holy and that semi-holy. And that's where we ended. Chapter 7 now has to ask a very big question, because now you and I, and this is what we're going to start learning, if it's not holy, that means it's like a gray area. And if it's a gray area, is that good or is it bad? Something that is totally evil is evil, like murder. That's not gray area. That is dark side, the worst. Stealing, the worst. But what about permissibility? It's not against the law to do it. For example, exercising, eating, playing baseball, stamp collecting. All of these things is not in the realm of holiness, but it's definitely not in the realm of unholiness. In their existence, I come into that. I come on now, want to play baseball. Am I bringing myself down if I play baseball because I should only be holy? What about a person who wants to listen to music? Or what about somebody who wants to eat a nice steak or a good piece of salmon? I'm now in the realm of not holy, but it's not wrong. Where is that energy from God? And what effect does it have on me when I live in the Noga area? I'm using the word Noga for a reason. So let me explain Noga. It's a Kabbalistic word for the in-between area. Imagine there's a peanut. So you have the nice little white peanut. Then there's a red shell, very thin shell that covers the peanut. I can't see the peanut, but it's there. And then there's the hard shell, which we shouldn't be eating. It's not good for us, etc. So now we have three things. We have the essence, the peanut. We now have a semi-good red shell because I can't eat it, but it covers up the peanut. And then we have the total hard shell. We're not going to talk about the hard shell. That is totally wrong. That's not the subject of today's class. Today's class is that semi-red shell, that lifestyle that is not holy, but can't call it unholy. What about that existence? What happens to you and I when that is the world that we are living in? Are we good? We're not dealing with holiness. Are we bad? Well, we're not dealing with totally unholiness. Wow. Most of our lives is in this area. Comes the Alter Rebbe is going to talk to us exactly how to deal with this. So we all know, the Alter Rebbe explains, like if there's a window, clean and everything, All the sunlight comes in. It's beautiful. What happens if there's dust and crud on the window? Light comes in, but it's not the bright sunlight. And it may not even be the yellow light coming through the window. It could be a little rustyish, reddish, etc., grayish, whatever it is. Why? Because the dirt on the window affects the light coming in. That light that has became discolored is not bad light. It's not black. That is the energy of Noga. So now that I'm playing baseball, which is in the world of Noga, or I'm listening to music, one thing we have to say for sure. If it's not a holy thing, it's not part of my godly soul. It's not holy. Simple. But is it bad? No, it's not bad. So the Alter Rebbe asks the question, how can I play baseball? How can I go exercising? How can I go and eat at a beautiful restaurant? Is it good for me? Is it good for my godly soul? Is it good for me in this world of serving God? Or is it to take it away from me? Now, for example, there are some people that go exercising. It's very good. They want to keep their body healthy. They work out a half hour. They get the cardio. They get it all going. But then there are certain people that need 4 or 5 hours a day. 4 or 5 hours a day in the gym. And they're working out and they're making sculptures and this and that and they're making everything. They're working 4 or 5 hours. So what has happened was the energy of the Noiga, what happened to them was, very simply, it took them over. And the animal soul is feeding on this. And the animal soul loves it. Why? Because your focus is on you. The me. How beautiful I look. There's nothing wrong looking beautiful. There's nothing wrong. God loves it when you look beautiful. But 4 hours a day, it's a little bit on the excessive side. Some people, they run. Okay, you run 1 mile, you run 2 miles. But there's some people that said, no, I have to do 20 miles a day. That is my thing. There are some people, I can only eat from these kind of restaurants. I can't eat in those kind of restaurants. I'm so into my food, I have to make sure that I look at every single food. Is it organic? Is it not organic? Is it bacterial, antibacterial? I get it. We want to eat healthy. But when you went shopping, just look at it. You can see it. Move on. You're bored already. But now you're looking even more. And you're spending 2-3 hours a day on what you're consuming. So the Noga energy, the animal soul said, come on, Noga, I want more of you. Because the more I get of you, the more I can keep this human being from thinking about God. And all of a sudden, they have no time for God. All of a sudden, a person I love feeling the beauty of boating. I love boating. I have to go boating. I love sunbathing. I love going on vacations. I love doing that. And then all of a sudden, the godly soul throws a thought into your head and says, hey, today is Shabbos. You want to go to services today? All of a sudden, like that, it goes out the window. Why? Because you're thinking, I'm on my boat. Why do I want to go to a service? And the animal says, got it. So it's not evil. It was all permissible activity. But what has happened is that this permissible activity was used by the animal soul and said, gotcha. You're not going towards the godly soul. So how do I make my exercise holy? How do I make my experience of eating holy? How do I play baseball? Or how do I go to a ball game? And that it's holy. Well, my dear friends, it's not that hard at all. First, 1 second. Did you see I just drank water? But why did I drink the water? Because I started feeling my throat was getting dry, and I want to teach you a Torah class. So when I was drinking the water, the whole purpose of me drinking the water was to teach you Torah. That made my pleasure of drinking water a holy act. See, every single morning we all go and have our coffee, we all have our breakfast. But for why? If you're going to say, I have to feel good, then it's all for the animal, even though it's permissible. But it's all for the animal within you, the animal soul. But what happens if you go and you say like this, I need to have my coffee, so when I put on my tefillin, I have energy. I can pray better to God. Now all of a sudden the coffee was transformed into something holy. You're eating lunch. And let's say you have a corned beef sandwich or whatever it is, tuna sandwich. And there you're enjoying it. And you think just for 30 seconds, I'm eating this beautiful food, so I should have energy, so I can go back to work. That this way I can go and make money, so I can give charity. I could have money to put my kid in a Jewish education, whatever it is. So in other words, you're eating the food with an intention, and the intention is a holy intention. So all of a sudden, your activity became, the animal soul says it's not all about you. You weaken the hold of the animal soul. The noga is that red cover on the peanut. It now became good for you. You can eat it. It's all right. Why? Because you put 30 seconds into an intention that it's also for God. But an amazing thing happens. That lettuce that's in the sandwich, that wheat that is in the sandwich, that fish that is in the sandwich, all of a sudden got transcended and fulfilled a greater purpose. Why? Because now you use the wheat, the water, the ingredients in the sandwich. That instead of it just being wheat and feeding an animal, it transcended to feed a human to serve God. And that weakens the hold of the animal on you. And the noga now becomes permissible. Many times I'll go to a ball game. Have a good time at a ball game. Hey, let's go Yankees. I'll even do that at a Dodger game. But you don't, I'm the kind of guy that when I go to the game, I'm wearing my Yankee t-shirt. It says in the back, Rabbi Mentz. I'm wearing my Yankee hat. And all of a sudden, people are going to talk to me. You're a Yankee fan. And all of a sudden, you'd be surprised. People all around me, you know what they say? Hey, Rabbi, you want to hear me do my bar mitzvah lesson? Gotcha. So you're Jewish, huh? And before you know it, I talk to them a little bit about how special it is. Tell me about your bar mitzvah. And here for 30 seconds to a minute, we're talking Torah in Dodger Stadium. The whole experience got uplifted. Sometimes you go to the game. Not only are you talking to the guys all around you, but who do you have next to you? You have your children. It's a time for bonding. It's a time like you give them a hug at the game. In other words, it's not all about the game. Yeah! Okay, that's the animal. But you can also use those moments for a bonding of a holy moment, and all of a sudden the whole Dodger game got uplifted. The whole baseball game, wherever you are. So you can go exercise. Exercising for 4 or 5 hours, okay, it's kind of excessive, and your animal soul got you. But if you worked for an hour, a half hour, and you went and said like this, I want to stay healthy so I can serve God better. My heart should be better. I can live longer on this world to go and do it. That's a beautiful thing. So now you're exercising for your health. It is for your body, 100%, but it has a higher purpose. Comes the Alter Rebbe and says, as long as you are in the gray area, which is all permissible, it can be either used for negativity and become a real thing for the animal cell, or you can use it for holiness. See, even though you're only thinking about it for 20, 30 seconds, but your whole mindset is, I want to be able to serve God better. That's all it takes. That the animal soul goes, he took away the whole fun of being an animal and exercising. And now goes, I'm working out. Yay! I can't wait. I'm going to live longer so I can serve God. I can dance at my great-grandchildren's weddings. There's a story of the holy Baal Shem Tov, the founder of the Hasidic movement. He saw their religious guy sitting at the table. And all of a sudden there was like a vision, the way he saw it. The guy was sitting with the big fur hat. And he was wearing the whole, the long black coat made of silk. And he had a beard and everything. But the way he was eating, I want to eat this, I want to eat that, I want to eat that. And the Baal Shem Tov said he's so absorbed in the enjoyment of the beef, he became an animal. He's eating like an animal. Look, and to him, the guy's face looked like an animal and not like a human being. Point being is, sometimes we get so into our food. Oh, the beef is so good. The wine is so good. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Is that we don't realize that it's all about my pleasure. There's nothing wrong with my pleasure. But don't become the animal that all up. Because that's how animals are. It's all about me. It has to taste perfect. Put a little bit of thought into it. I'm eating this kosher piece of meat because tomorrow I'll have the protein and the strength that when I wake up in the morning with my cup of coffee, I'll be able to serve God better. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. Just always remember. So I'm listening to music. Why am I listening to music? I want to put myself in a good mood. Why do I want to put myself in a good mood? Because when you're in an unhappy mood, you can't serve God in happiness. And you can't be good to your family. So music is a beautiful way to change your mood. But if you think about it in a beautiful, holy way, so this way I can be happy, so I can be better for the people around me, it's good. But it also depends what kind of music you listen to. We're talking about in between, this holy music, very religious music. But most of us want to live in the world of the Sound of Silence, whatever the song that you want. I'm not talking about the music that has 4-letter words, and we're going to kill you. Okay, that's total animal, and there's no holiness, there's no good in that. But in the or you're listening to a beautiful Pavarotti, or you're listening to any music that's good. And you think, I'm so relaxed. So this way, when I walk into my home after a stressful day of work, I can be good with my spouse, I can be good with my children, I have to scream at them. That is a holy act. Comes the Alter Rebbe. Everything in this world could be either used for good or for not good. You're the choice. You're the one that makes the choice. So when God made this world, he hid himself. And most of the things are permissible. I didn't say everything is. You can use it for the realm of holiness, or you can use it for negativity. The more you use it for holiness, the world becomes refined. You become refined. Think about it. If in your mind, that instead of being angry, and you put words of Torah, or even if you put in other kinds of wisdom, but mostly Torah wisdom, you're putting in happy thoughts, good thoughts. You can't get angry so fast. Why? Because the stuff that makes you angry there's no room in the head anymore. Well, you ever noticed you used to have a potty mouth? Now all of a sudden you're catching yourself. And all of a sudden your mouth becomes refined. And you're saying Shema Yisrael with your mouth. All of a sudden you're starting to realize, I'm no more the animal that just does whatever I want to do. I'm a refined person. So are you noticing a special theme going on here? That the Alter Rebbe not only is telling us about becoming more holier and doing mitzvah versus not doing mitzvah, but do you notice the Alter Rebbe is kind of demanding of us, we have to work on ourselves. Think how we are doing what we're doing. Not everything has to be like, I want it now. I got to go to Uchi Coochie Island and just see the luau's. You want to go to Uchi Coochie with your wife? Have a good time. But why not bring Shabbos candles? Why not bring some challah? And you tell the children, hey, we're going to make sure we're Shabbos, we're taking care of Shabbos. Every day, the husband, you put on the tefillin, you take a picture from your balcony of your window that everybody could see on Instagram. Why not? But you're showing your children that God is even in Uchi Coochie Island. All of a sudden, your whole trip is different. It's not self-indulgent. There's transcendence. That even in Uchi Coochie, I can serve God as a Jew. And my dear friends, there's a saying, why did God put us into exile? Why not keep us in the Holy Land? The Holy Land, it's easy. You do mitzvah all the time. Why am I in exile? So it says, in order to make it easier to make converts. Now, what does it mean to make converts? We don't go out and make converts. It means that the convert is not moving to Israel, but by us being in Texas, they see us and they want to convert. But our rabbis tell it's not about making converts. It's about converting Texas. It's converting California. It's converting your home in California. Because you have to do more effort. If everything is holy, then where you're going to make changes, where it's gray. So God put us in every part of the world to be able to go and transform this world. And that's what's called tikkun olam, to fix the world. By me going out into the world and me doing tefillin in my home, keeping a kosher home, walking the streets, talking to other people with love and happiness. You make your atmosphere a beautiful, holy place. That's how you make the world a much better place. So my dear friends, each one of us should get out of today's class more than anything else is that we are living in a world where there's a lot of noise and a lot of distraction. Not everything is only about holiness, only about Torah, only about putting on tefillin, only about a mezuzah, only about Shabbos candles. There's a lot of distraction. And in that distraction, many people think in these activities, God doesn't exist. God is that distraction. You just have to pluck out and reveal the God in it and transform it into a holier thing. And this way you transform your home, yourself, and the community around you into a much better place. More about how to work on ourselves in this gray area next week. In the meantime, have a great week and enjoy taking the lessons of how to look around my world and in everything that I do, how can I go and transform it and make it a holy action and it all transcends. God bless you.